the recent shakeup in the stock market and the crypto industry as a result of the tariffs. In fact, just the tariff implications on all of markets, all of the economies around the world, has just been astounding. The back and forth, some people would say that Trump has, sort of reeled in some of the tariff threats, and there are claims that 75 countries have come forward to make a deal, and that this is now really just about China. And really, I think the takeaway here is, how do we think about our investments? Are you a trader? Are you an investor? I believe, it's just my personal opinion, that if you're a long-term thinker, you need to be a long-term investor. Trading is nice, doing day trading and making sort of a quick turnaround on your investments is fantastic. Nobody would ever say, hey, don't do it. But if you're thinking generationally, right, and you bought Apple, let's go with Amazon. You bought Amazon at $5 in 1999, 2000, and you held it, you would have turned every $5 into $3,000, right? If you had traded that off and on, there was a study done, somebody had researched this and said that if you had done sort of the trading game, you would have been lesser off. You're better off just doing the long-term trade game. And so I'm that kind of thinker. I believe in that. So when things like this happen, similar to what we experienced this week, where we saw a 10-20% decline in markets, some markets worse, some industries worse than others, did you panic and sell and just throw your hands up in the air and say, I'm done with this, I can't handle the pressure? Or were you sort of the long-term thinker and saying, oh my God, this is the best opportunity I could have come up with. I just got my hands on an extra X amount of cash and I'm deploying it, And so long-term thinkers, generational wealth thinkers, creators of long-term sort of establishments, long-term plays, are the ones who really succeed and can then pass the torch down, and offer something to the next generation, even to your later self, right? That you can't do if you're constantly reacting, similar to the way Wall Street reacts. When Wall Street reacts, or any of the, whether it's the European stock market or Asian stock market, whenever there's a reaction, a panic mode, or a FOMO opportunity, it's at a very large scale, right? We're dealing with millions upon millions of dollars. These are trade games that are being played. Are you in that position? Do you need to be? Do you have the experience to play that game? Or are you, as an individual, let them play the game? You focus on sort of, hey, I'm sitting down, I'm sitting pretty, I know where this ends in 5 and 10 years, right? And I'm good with that. I don't need to play the day game and the panic game and the reaction game and the FOMO game. I'm just going to be cool hand Luke over here, and I'm going to be steadfast, and I'm going to be consistent, and I'm going to be a damn good poker player, right? Not going to react, not going to show my face, not going to show my expressions in my conduct, right? The proverbial expression. And so really, to sort of be a maverick, you really need to hone in on that. You need to focus on, how can I get better at having a steady hand, consistent hand, and doing something for the long game. That's really the goal here. So I want you to give that some thought today and ask yourself, how can I be better at this? How can I react less? How can I use data to support me and avoid the news that creates panic? Because ultimately that's what happens, right? We hear a piece of news, we read an article, we read a headline, and we just, oh my gosh, I got to react. And that's to the upside and downside, by the way. No matter what's happening, whether it's climbing up or going down, it's the same thing. Do you sell when things are going super high and great? Yeah, you might take a little bit of profits and reinvest them later on. That's definitely a part of the game that you should be playing. But do you panic sell when things are going down and sell at a loss? The reason why most investors don't make money is because they don't have the stomach to absorb sort of the challenges that come with making these investments. And that's why you need to zoom out and look at a 10-year horizon. Look at the 5 and 10-year horizon, and you will recognize a startling pattern, and that is you always win in the long run. So that should be your mantra, right? Create a mantra for yourself and stick to it and be persistent. Okay, if you want to do something that other generations in your family have not done, then you need to play the game that their generations did not play well. And so kind of give this some thought today. See how you can sort of master your hand at that. And I would love to read your comments. How do you do that today if you are doing that? And maybe you've got a nugget or two for the audience. And I'll see you in the next one.